excuse me. Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's Erica here from Me to You Paper Crafts. I'm sporting a new hairdo today. I'm going to get it cut tomorrow. Can't wait. I'm hoping to get rid of a lot of this dark that I've been growing out. And we'll see what my hair will look like once that's been cut out. I'm kind of excited about it. It's been a long but not too painful process, I have to admit. So welcome. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Erica, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator of 11 years this year, and I live on the west coast of Canada. So if you happen to be a Canadian crafter, either a Canadian demonstrator or a Canadian crafter, scrapbooker, whatever you are, I welcome you to join my Facebook Lives. I go live twice a week, Monday morning at 10 a.m. for what I call Mojo Monday, just to get your mojo going for crafting projects that you have to do during the week, any birthdays that you have to get out or anniversaries or whatever. And on Thursday night, I do Case the Catty. So I take a project from one of our current catalogs and I either copy it exactly or change it up a little bit depending on what products I have. So welcome. I see Gina has joined. Hi, Gina. How are you doing? Nice for you to pop in tonight live with me. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to talk to you about tonight's card. So tonight is Case the Catty. And I have done this stamp set already once. I think I did it. I think I did it for Case the Catty. I did do it for Case the Catty. It's called Linked Together. So it's a stamp set with a set of dies, and it comes with a set of masks. So if you love to play with ink, and if you love inking mediums such as sponge daubers, or if you like to use brushes, then masks are so much fun to put together. And the way they're creating masks now is like it's a building up. So you start with one mask and you start to ink it up. Then you add another mask on top of it and you ink it up. And then you take a third mask and ink it up for as many masks as there are. And the masking is either creating a pattern. So I have an example here to show you. So you're either creating a pattern like this, okay, or you're building maybe some flowers. So we've had masks that build flowers. So masks can be a lot of fun to create backgrounds. Okay, so that's the set of masks that you have. These are kind of, they're based on a die that's in here. You see that? It looks like a trellis, and there's a die in the stamps set bundle that has a trellis in it, and I'll show that to you. So I will turn my camera down so I can show you what we're making in the actual catalog, and we'll get started. So all I have to do is bring my desktop to the stage and straighten out my camera. There we go. Hi, Christine. Welcome. You're saying you have masks but didn't get the stamps or dies. It just depends, you know. I think it really depends. You can just get masks on their own and then build up with other things. Or if they're decorative masks, like just making patterns, you can use them with any stamp set whatsoever. Okay, so here is the stamp set. Once again, it's got some really nice greetings on it. Wishing you a happy day. Wishing you a lifetime of love. You can do just a note. You can say so happy for you. There's a big, nice, big enjoy here. You've got an O, so you could do O, happy day. Just don't ink up the A. You can leave the A off. Oh, happy day. Yeah, so you can do some combinations there. And then here are the dies inside. So ignore this kind of background I've got here. These are strips of magnets. This is how I used to buy magnets a long time ago, thinking I would save a bit of money by just having these strips and just putting them in on a piece of cardstock so that I'm not covering the whole thing. But it didn't turn out to be cheaper, and it was a lot more work. So I don't do it much anymore. But I did find this one piece of card in my stash of magnets, so I thought I would use it tonight for the stamp set. So here's the trellis I was talking to you about. So this cuts out a trellis, and I'll show it to you. I have it right here. I love trellises. I've always loved trellises because you can build a garden scene with it. So this is your trellis here. That's what your trellis looks like. It's really, really kind of cool. And of course you can do it in any colors. And if you have designer series paper that has a wood grain to it, then you could do your trellis out of a wood grain, which would be kind of cool. All right, then you have an oval. We haven't had any oval dies for a long, long time. And so there's one oval die. It's a stitched oval die in here, which we're using tonight. You've got a set of 4 little flowers that you can cut out. So you've got a die for 4 flowers. That's these flowers here. I'll show you. Cute little flowers. We're going to use those tonight. It has this interesting trapezoid shape that you could do things with. So that's kind of cool. And then it has a couple of branches in here. You've got a short little branch and a bigger branch. And I've die cut those as well, because we're going to use those on the project tonight. So here are the branches, and the project is using them in white. So I've cut 2 small ones and I cut 2 large ones here. Okay, 2 small, 2 large. And the other cool thing I want to show you is when you die cut like branches or leaves, this happened to just be a scrap piece of paper. Like I just went into my scrap bin and pulled out this size. This is the size it turns out to be. So what happens is this becomes this little rectangle piece. And if you die cut another branch, same die cut in a different color, you can actually inset this inside and create something like that. So I thought I would put that on the inside of my card. It's kind of a cool technique. Okay. So that's it for the dies. We're not actually using this trellis. Yes, we are. Sorry. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you again were the masks. So there's several masks in here. And if you look on my video section of my page, you will find the video to this. So there happens to be 5 masks in this set. And they've numbered them here. And they've also notched it out because you position them at the notch so that you can line up everything properly. All right. And I think you can start them off in any order. So this is a thin trellis. This becomes a little bit wider or thicker. And then this is even thicker. So you get to build up. And then you've got this triangle bit. And then you've got these dots. So when I made this sample here, this one, I think I know I used this one, and then I know I used this one, and I think I used this one as well. So maybe I only used the 2. Trying to remember. Yeah, I think I just used the 2. So you can use 2, 3, or all 5 of them. You have to play. You have to take some time to play with masks. All right, so those are the decorative masks. Okay. Now, this is the card that I made so if you want to look at another Case the Catty, this is the card that I made. I tried to take a photo of the card and I put it as the thumbnail for the video. So when you go to my video section on my Facebook page, you should be able to see the card that I made for it and then click on it and then you can watch the video. Okay. But tonight, this is the card we're making. This kind of fascinated me a little bit. So we're going to make this card. Okay, so this card uses one of the new in colors. I think it's Summer Splash. I might be wrong. I think it's Summer Splash. And I die cut. We needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We needed 9 ovals. So I've die cut 9 ovals. And I'm going to show you a very, very cool embossing trick using dies. So dies typically cut things out, don't they? Typically. Most always and typically, okay? But we're going to not cut it out because if I use this die, it cuts out, see? All these pieces fall out. But with the use of your silicone mat, ladies and gentlemen, Now, if you've been a crafter for many, many years ago when Sizzix developed their system, they came out with a sheet. I think it was black in color. It's been blue. It's been different colors, but they called it an embossing mat. But we have our silicone mat, which works just as well. So I'm going to show you what the sandwich is to do this. So basically, what you do is you're going to take your base plate and take off the cutting pad. You don't need the cutting pad, so just the base plate, okay? Then you're going to put on an acrylic plate. Then you're going to put on your silicone mat, okay? Then you're going to put on your die cut. So the way I did this is I pre-cut the ovals. I put the oval on here on top of the silicone mat. Then I took the die cut with the cutting edge down right on top of the oval. And you want to look at your pattern and decide where you want to position it. Okay. And then you're going to put on the second acrylic pad. Now, depending on your machine, I think you've heard the word calibration. Everybody's machine is calibrated a little bit differently. So if you run it through like this, it doesn't give, it'll give a tiny, tiny bit of an impression. So if you take a look at this one, let's see if my camera, I don't know if my camera's going to pick it up. Can you guys see that? See, you can see it a bit there. It gives a slight impression. I did quite a few layers of extra shim and it was too much and it actually started to crack the paper. So you kind of have to play with it and decide. And all you want to use is copy paper. So this is your basic sandwich to start with. So you've got your base plate, an acrylic pad, your silicone mat, your cardstock, your die, and then your second plate. And then you want to add just some, this is just paper that I've cut up. It's just copy paper. You might want to run it through with one piece to see how it looks, or you might want to run it with 2 or 3. It just depends on how deep you want this impression. This to me was too much because it's definitely cracking, and it could cut as well if you go too deep. Okay. So this one was a lot more faint. And so I'm going to go through and do all of these to give them the texture. Okay. So I think I will pull my machine closer so you can see me do this at the time. I have my, my mat taped down so it doesn't move, but let's just bring over my machine. Okay. And I think I'm going to zoom out a bit. So bear with me for a sec. Okay, there we go. All right. So I just want to check on my, so you can see here, I've got my plates all lined up. I've got my die on top of my oval. Okay, then I'm going to put my top acrylic plate on top. And then I'm going to throw in 2 sheets of paper. And I'm going to run it through. You won't feel much pressure at all. So you're going to think that it's not doing anything at all. But it is, surprisingly. When you feel too much pressure, you're going too deep. And you're just going to have to get the feel of it. There's no right or wrong. Look at that. Don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. There you go. Can you see that? So that's almost perfect. There's a tiny bit of like crinkling in there. So maybe I only need the 1 sheet of copy paper. Okay. This one was way more faint. So, and that's up to you. I mean, you can decide, how much pattern you want in there, how deep you want your pattern to be. Okay, so I'm just going to put 1 sheet in and see the difference. See if the camera will pick up. Oops, don't forget your acrylic. Now you could put, no, I think I'll put my acrylic. I think you should put your acrylic plate on first and then your paper. Now, you can do this on, this will give you a whole new way to use your dies. I'm going to show you some samples once we've got this done. So there you go. There's another one that worked out quite nicely. Okay, and I'm kind of throwing them all over the floor here. So have any of you done this technique before? Maybe in the good old days, years ago, you've done it. Okay, Christine, I'll review the sandwich with you. Just a sec. Okay, so the sandwich is base plate, no cutting pad, which is the white one. You know, it comes with two, the machine comes with the two white plates. I think it's got a number on it, number 1. No, number 2. Hang on, let me grab it. You don't want to use the cutting plate. Yeah, number 2. This is number 2. Okay, you don't want to use number 2. That's for cutting. And we're not cutting, we are embossing. So base plate, an acrylic pad, the silicone mat, your cardstock, your die face down, blades face down, your final acrylic pad, your final acrylic pad. I was working with plaids yesterday. And then 1 or 2 shims of copy paper, and then run it through. I'm actually amazed at how little pressure the machine uses to create an impression. Look. It's hard to get the right camera angle. Look at that. Okay, so we've got 3 done. Okay, so I want to show you while I'm doing this. I want to show you what my husband's been busy making lately. Some of you asked, since he's newly retired, what has he been up to? And I'm going to show you. I'll do a little show and tell of what he's been up to. This, of course, would be way easier if I was standing up. That's okay. We'll just do it like that. Okay, there's number 3. I wish I could do 2 at a time, but I can't. The die doesn't quite fit in here twice. So, yeah. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is I did some samples of some other dies. I just went through quickly some other dies that I have. And I'll show you what else you can make with this. So I just have 3 more to do. The rubber mat doesn't slide back through the machine. You kind of have to lift it up. And then I'm going to show you how to clean your rubber mat because it gets filled with paper lint. Absolutely covered with paper lint. Hi, Jan. How are you? Christine, you're saying you did this technique years ago? Yeah, I find it fun how every now and then an old technique comes to the surface and then everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Okay, so we'll do this one. So for my machine, one sheet of copy paper works just fine. And you can't believe it. I'm hardly pushing this handle at all. There's hardly any pressure. So you think to yourself, ooh, it's not doing it at all. Well, it does it. It does it. The machine does not need much pressure. I think I have one on the floor. I think I have one more left to do. Now this is, granted, this is a more advanced card, I would say, and there's a lot more work. You wouldn't want to do this for a card swap, I don't think. And there we go. Now let me just go to the floor and get my last piece. Yeah, it's embossed too. I may have done too many, but we'll see. All right, let me put this away. And let me get rid of, now I'm going to show you. Okay. All right. So number one, I'm finished with my mat. You cannot believe how linty it is. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's pretty linty. Oh, you can see, look at that. Isn't that gross? Okay. So if you take a lint brush, ta-da, take a lint brush and roll it over your acrylic mat. It is marvelous. I used to always take it over to my kitchen sink. It'll also pick up any bits of scrap on your paper. The other day I did a whole bunch of die cutting or snipping, I think it was. I think it was paper cutting, or what do we call it? I was snipping, paper snipping. And I had a ton of little bits everywhere, and I just used this to pick up all the little bits. All right, now it's really smooth and it's back to normal. Okay. All right, so the next thing I want to show you, so that's cleanup. Next thing I wanted to show you is, oh, and I'll put in my tomorrow when I put the photos up, I will put the sandwich in the description for you. Okay, I pulled this stamp set out because I remembered it had this really cool filigreed heart in there. See that? So it doesn't cut the outside of the heart. It just cuts the inside because it came with another die. So this cuts the outside and then this cuts the inside and it cuts out all of these little leafy bits. So what I did was I used this die, same sandwich. I did the exact same thing. And I took a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer of cardstock. And I placed this, first I started in the center with the heart. And I ran it through the machine, and then I did a heart here and a heart here, and then I did a heart up here and heart here and heart here, and I just covered it. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's really pretty. How do I get you to see that? Close up, can you see? Oh, there you go. Can you see that? So it's created this beautiful heart shapes, like leafy pattern. Fussy cutting. Thank you, Christine. Fussy cutting, it's called. Okay. Now, you could do the exact same thing with this die if you wanted an impression of a filigree a trellis in your card. Do the same thing. Just emboss it. And here, I took this leaf out of this stamp set. Look at this leaf. I took this out, did the exact same thing, and I don't know. It's really disappointing. You can't see it. I did one leaf embossed right down the center of this card. So I'll make a card from this one. I'll make a card from these two. So use your dies for embossing. This set's great. It's got little hearts you could emboss. It's got these little hearts and these big hearts. So it takes time to cover a whole layer of cardstock, but you could add some leaves and just have fun with it and create your own patterns. Okay, so that is the technique I wanted to show you tonight. The die cut emboss, I'm going to call it the die cut embossed technique. And you can do lots of fun things with that. Okay, let's start making our card. So I have Summer Splash as my card base. Okay, I've got, then I had to work out my own measurements. See, there's a piece kind of in the middle here. And that's what I'm going to glue these other pieces on. So I think I made this 1.5 inches shorter than the card base. So I'm going to be putting this in the center. Now, I think I told you the tip about when you cut your cardstock. I don't know, do you guys ever get these raised edges on the edge? And I just use my bone folder and I just smooth it over just to get rid of that edge it's because I'm either pushing too hard on my blade or my blade's getting kind of old, which I think it is, but it's usually because you press too hard. Okay, so that's going to go in the center of my card. Okay, so what I'm going to do on here, I'm going to bring in my silicone mat and I'm going to build up these ovals. Now, the pattern is you start with, and this is tone on tone. This would look really pretty with 2 different colors. So I'm basically going to center this one. Then I will put glue one to the side. And you want to, now if I look at the picture, I am thinking these are all mounted up on dimensionals. I don't know. I think that's a lot of work. I think you already get enough dimension between the background and the die cut itself. So I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is I'll lift up the whole back panel with dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. And then we're going to fill in the center. So I'm going to go like this, and then I'll end up trimming it. Now they may have, because I don't see the corners showing, they may have gone like this and like this. So you don't see that corner. I'm just going to turn them around. And then we'll have one down here. And we'll have one down here. So that's how I'm going to glue it together. I think that's how they did it. So let's bring in I got a brand new Tombow glue going here. Now, if you don't glue edge to edge on the die cut, you will get some dimension because the edges might lift up a little bit. See, they're lifting up a little bit here. So I don't have glue right to all the edges here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue like that. So you could make all kinds of patterns on here with different die cuts and different colors. And then we're going to trim the whole thing. Yeah, I'll leave that right there. Those ovals remind you of Easter eggs. Yes. Oh my gosh, good idea. Good idea to remember this for Easter. That's putting your thinking cap on there, Christine. I didn't center this one. Let's Okay, I'm not exact. These are closer than these. Well, these are pretty close. Yeah, they're okay. What the heck? There's other stuff going to be happening on this card, so hopefully nobody's looking too closely to see, you know, what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my really long paper snips here. These are actually my ribbon scissors. I don't like using these, but I'm going to here. You know what? I'm going to trim a little bit, and then maybe I'll pull out my guillotine. Let's just chop some of this off. Then I'm going to use my guillotine, I think. We'll just do this, and then we'll go in a lot closer. Okay, that's got glue on it now. Let's do a quick little tidy. Today I watched a video by Rose Coleman. You guys probably know her. And she talked about the 10-minute tidy, which I'd forgotten about. They used to do it in kindergarten, the 10-minute tidy. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up along my paper trimmer and trim. Do you remember the 10-minute tidy when your kids were in school, or did you do it at home? Whoops, that didn't work very well. It's a bit thick, so let's do this side. I will use some alcohol and clean up my trimmer, because there's glue on the blade now. Okay. All right, so there is your pattern all trimmed up. And now we'll mount it on our card. So here's our, nope, that's not our card base. Here's our card base. Okay. What happened? My camera angle switched. Why is my mouse not working all of a sudden? Oh, here we go. It should be solo layout. There we go. All right, so there's my pattern. I think I'm going to trim just a tiny bit off there. Okay, so there's our design. This is already quite thick. I don't think I'm going to put it up on dimensionals after all. Okay, so we're going to glue this down. Then we're going to build up our branches and our flowers. Never heard of a 10-minute tidy. Yeah, they used to use it in kindergarten. You know, when the kids were doing crafts or art stuff, and they had all these, God, they were famous for using bins to store everything. And all of a sudden the teacher would call 10-minute tidy, and the kids would just scatter and start putting things away. It was really kind of cool. Okay, so this goes edge to edge on our card here. Whoa, I did it the wrong way. Whew, that was close. That was close. I had it turned the wrong way. Okay, I'm just going to hold that down a little bit. Okay. All right. Now, we've got some flowers building up on here. So we've got probably one up here and then one down here. And then we're going to put a sentiment in the middle. And I pulled out a set of dies. These look like they're kind of overlapped, maybe like that and like this. Okay, I'm going to put them on like that. So again, don't forget the photography trick I told you if you're designing and you want okay, so we need some very fine. I'm going to try and use my Tombow. Oh, that's the, which Tombow is that? Is that my new one or my old one? Okay, make sure you've got your die cut turned the right way. Just want some tiny little dots. So let's put this one up like this. I like to grab a piece of paper and just smooth it on top, just to make sure it's stuck down. Okay, then we're going to put this smaller one on top. Now, the one thing about these flowers is when you cut these flowers out, there is a little center bit, but they always fall out, which is kind of annoying because it would be kind of cool to keep them in there. But you can use your little pearls for that. Any of you have anything interesting that you've been designing lately? We came away from our little craft and connect and share presentations. That was a lot of fun. Today I actually made one of those 6x6 paper boxes. I'm not sure that I'm going to do that. I have too many 6x6 packages to do that with. And I already bought these plastic sleeves, so it's a great idea, though, for those that don't have any paper storage. Okay, we're going to do our last little leaf. And I did one style of bookmark card that I found on the internet. It was one from Lisa Curcio, and then I have the other one that Heather had done. I found that. She posted it, but I haven't made it yet. Okay, so those are our flowers, and I think I'm going to do the greeting before that. Now, for the greeting, I pulled out this set of dies. This came with the Something Fancy stamp set, and they're still current, Something Fancy dies. These are great dies for a lot of greetings. Okay, you've got, and you can turn some of them into tags too. So I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to need the big one. Let's just die. We're going to do white embossing on this same color. So let me just see. Here is So Happy for You. I just want to see how big this. Do I need the large one of these or the medium-sized one? Let's see. No, I think I'm going to do the large one. Oh, maybe it's the smaller one. Let me do, let's do the embossing and then we'll see. So I'm using my embossing buddy. And then I've got my Versamark out and my stamp. Okay, and then we'll get out our embossing powder. And let's emboss. I always cover my powder. Oh, I've had some disasters. Woo! I always like to heat up my heat tool a little bit before I start heating. I love seeing that white jump right out off the paper. Okay, let's decide on this. Yeah, this die is plenty big enough. The middle one. Yep. Now, this is a happy accident. Look where my die ends up, right smack in the middle of this piece of card. So I can have this card front with a hole in the middle, and I can use it on another card. So it's kind of fun when you kind of plan or accidentally plan two cards at once. How about that? Okay, so I have to put my machine back together again. I need number 2 plate, which is your what's called the cutting pad. It's not the acrylic plate, it's a cutting pad. Then you need an acrylic plate. Then you need your cardstock with your die. And I'm skewing it a bit so I'm not rolling through a straight edge. And let's give that a die cut. Look at that. So happy for you. Okay, so this is going to go on dimensionals for sure. I have another new pack of dimensionals. Okay, so this is going in the middle, and then we're going to build up our flowers. So happy for you. I might be using the wrong colored cardstock now that I look at that. I'm pretty sure I took the right one out, but that's okay. I can change up the color. All right, then you've got all these cute little flowers. Now I like to use my tweezers. And if you wanted, we could use some tiny dimensionals here. And let me grab my pokey tool. We'll do more than once at a time. Make sure you put your dimensional on the wrong side of the die cut. Okay, so we're going to have one here. Just going to tuck it in like that. And then we're going to do one up here. And they're kind of tucking them a bit under the leaves if you can. That one's glued down, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and then I'm going to do one here and one here. And I've got one down here. See if oh good, I can tuck it under that leaf. And then this one, I'm going to tuck up in here. Like so. And then I think we have one more. You've been in genealogy land this week. Wow. That's just something I just don't think I could manage. I'm going to do some physical genealogy. We're planning a trip back to England to take my mother's ashes back finally. And we're going to be meeting some family members that some I haven't even met yet. So that's going to be my genealogy trip. All right, so there you go. Now I've got these gems. These are called the iridescent faceted gems. And that's what they're using on this card. So I'm going to put some of these gems on my flowers. So let's use my putty end. And they've got a gem on every one pretty well. These are very cute, these gems. I should check, but does anybody know? I don't know if Stampin' Up! Even still sells the pearls. Do they? Never thought to look. Tomorrow is the last day of celebration. I've got an order ready to go. I'm going to send it as soon as I'm finished my live here. I kept humming and hawing over what else I wanted. And then I realized, well, you don't have to buy everything from the mini catalog because it goes till April. But if you want to collect more free stuff, you can. All right, there's our card ladies. Now, I think they did a couple of extra big gems. They've got one down here, and they've got one here. There we go. Okay, there's the card. So happy for you. I'm quite happy with the way that turned out. It's a little bit of work, but I think the result is very pretty. So there you go. There are some techniques that you can try out. Now for the inside, I do want to show you this cute little thing. So I'm going to get, I might do something really different. The other day, a lady was talking about you don't always have to put a layer inside your card. You could put die cuts for a greeting. So I might just use that oval on the inside. And just have this down at the bottom. And I'm just going to put a little dab of glue inside. That's easier than putting the glue on the actual flower. And then let's just sit this right in here. There you go. There's another idea. And I might just put that oval in there with another greeting. So happy for you, and then do happy birthday on the oval. There you go. Okay, I have a bit of show and tell. What's my time like? Not quite an hour. So if you want to stick around, I want to show you what my husband's been up to. Wait till you see. They're so cute. Okay, so I'm kind of mad about cell phone holders on my desk. So the first cell phone holder he made me was this bird. Okay, and you sit the bird up, you know, like that up, and then you put your phone on it. So there's my phone. It's actually got two ledges for two different angles. So there you go. There's my bird cell phone. Nice and solid. He got this really cool piece of wood from a friend. It was left over. And he cut out this little bird. Isn't it cute? And nice and solid. It doesn't knock over at all. I can put my phone on there. Okay, so that was the first style he made. And then he knows how much I love, what do you think, ladies? Roosters. So he made this rooster one. And it's on a piece of live edge wood, which is kind of cool. But he did admit to me he accidentally put this wedge in here on the wrong side. It should have gone over here so you could see the live edge, but he's still learning. Anyway, and then he made this little rooster. My phone sits up on there, really cute. Oops, really cute. I'm not supposed to tip it sideways. But there's my rooster. Isn't that cute? Okay, and then the last one, it's not mine, we're giving it away, but this is the last one he made. Wait till you see this one. It's a little dinosaur. Okay, and your phone sits like this on the side of the dinosaur, see? Isn't that cute? I think the dinosaur is so cute. So now he's working on a whole bunch of other animals. Aren't they cute? That's his latest woodworking project. And he bought himself a new sander today. Oh my God, he's so happy. He's in the garage right now, having a gay old time while I'm out in the craft room. So there you go, ladies. Oh, actually, I could have showed and tell these with up like this. There you go. So I'll show them up one more time. So that's what the rooster looks like. And then the phone sits like this. See? And here's the bird. Yeah, it's easier to see them up here like that. There's the bird. This would be cute in a whole bunch of different colors. And then this is the little dinosaur. Look how cute he is. He's so cute. He should be painted green. Anyway, I thought I'd share those with you just for a little show and tell. So thanks again, ladies, and have a wonderful, it's Friday night tomorrow night. I love Friday nights. Friday night, tomorrow night, and then have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again for Mojo Monday for another card template. Are you enjoying the card templates? I hope so. I'm enjoying them. Lots of fun. So thank you so much. Last day to order for Celebration tomorrow, so place your orders if you have a few extra things you want to get to earn those free products. That 12 by 12 floral DSP is gorgeous. I love it. And don't forget that you've got the Toadstools DSP in there that's free. And there's just really nice celebration items this year. And there's extra stuff, but you have to go to the website to see them if you want to have some. Anyway, I yabber on as I usually do. Thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully we'll see you Monday morning. Bye, ladies.